Howdy folks, Craig Levati here with the Houston Museum of Natural Science and the Beyond Bones podcast. For today's episode, we're talking to Abby Fernandez from Houston BCycle. BCycle, those are those red bikes you see around town. People are renting and having a great time with a good big old gray basket. Yeah, we're talking to Abby. And we're even getting a special code for all of you to try out BCycle. Howdy folks, Craig Levati here with the Houston Museum of Natural Science. This is, of course, you're in the right place, the Beyond Bones Zoomcast. And I am joined by my co-host, as always, Kat Havens.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
We are good. Today is a very cool episode. I'm really excited about this. It's mobility is something close to my heart. I love seeing people getting around the city. I love people exploring the city, obviously, because we work in a museum and I want people to explore the museum. We are hanging out with Abby Fernandez from the BCycle group here in town. She is the marketing and outreach guru over there. Abby, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you guys for letting me join. I am a huge fan of the Museum of Natural Science. And yes, I'm here. I've been with Houston Bike Share, which everybody knows as Houston BCycle. So if you've seen those red stations around the city or those red bikes, even some cool art bikes, that's us. We're the nonprofit.
I remember when you guys first came to town, when it first started, it was I remember going, ooh, ah, because it was a thing we only saw like in cities in Austin and in Dallas. It was cool to see it in Houston finally. And this was maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I think Houston at that point was starting to embrace bicycling in the city as a valid form of transportation.
Yes. So I love that they're kind of building more of an awareness of and need of public transit, because I mean, within 610 and all these people coming in, of course, years ago when the Super Bowl and now with the pandemic, I mean, there's so many people that want to utilize Houston and, you know, the safety, and it's so broad. And so we're actually going to have our 10-year anniversary next year. And we're very new and fresh. And it's really great to see even our mayor, who is an avid cyclist, and council members that help fund our stations. They're constantly building more bike roads, bike lanes, even Houston Parks Board that just finished their Greenway 2020, which is 150 miles of running a bike trail throughout the city of Houston. So yeah, there's nothing but up from here.
And that's an enormous change in the past, short period of time. We were not bike friendly. The city was not bike friendly. In fact, the opposite. And I see a lot more bike lanes and bike trails and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's cool.
And I always try to remind people too, to Kat's point, you know, that we do have there are a few BCycle stations near the museum, near the zoo, you know, in the med center over there. And we also have a bike rack, guys. You can always lock up your bike at the museum. And we're starting to get into that good part of the Houston weather situation. Well, first we need to get through hurricane season.
I was going to say, are we getting into the good part, Craig?
We got to get through hurricane season, and then we can get to what I would call the prime bike riding season in the city. Abby, can you tell us a little bit about the bikes themselves? I think that's a big hurdle for some people. They don't know exactly what they are renting when they find a BCycle. Tell us about that.
Definitely. So for a person that hasn't ridden these bikes before, it's basically, we have around over 1,200 around the city. And these bikes are a lot sturdier. They're bright red, some of them gray colored bikes. And these bikes are supposed to be for all day use. I mean, for public transit, not for just one person using it all day, but to get from one place to another. And why they're so kind of sturdy and just really great, you know, bikes to utilize is because they're 24 hours. They're parked outside. They need to, you know, withstand this Houston weather, like even the floods. I mean, we even have some bikes that we had to bring back to life from, you know,
resurrect.
Exactly. Yeah. Get some CPR, some tender love and care. But with these bikes, I mean, some of the really great features that I like is that each of the wheels are reflective. So people ride, surprisingly, hundreds of people ride in the middle of the night, and it's just like a Tron bike. They're visibly, you can see them at nights. The front light and back light, it's generated whenever you pedal. And these bikes are very safe for people to use, and we have not had any fatalities, in the past, 10 years. And we just want to give this affordable, safe, way to get around. And even too, with some statistics in the back mind too, this is the most even safest to get around because of this pandemic. I mean, a lot of the times, I keep getting, newsletter updates of a bus driver getting COVID. So with this bike share, in this pandemic, we've actually added a feature of a contactless checkout. So if you've never ridden a bike, I definitely encourage somebody to go up to one of our 140 stations, download the free BCycle app, check out the bike without even touching the station, and you're good to go.
I saw that on the video with the phone. You just hold it up to the thing and you don't have to touch the buttons or anything. I was fascinated with that because I hadn't seen anything like that quite like that before. So that's pretty cool.
I was going to say they're very sturdy. That's the thing that I keep on trying to reiterate with people, especially who are leery of them. They're very sturdy bikes, and I think there is this concept that if you're in traffic, that if you are a cyclist, you do need to be aware of your surroundings, and if you're a driver, you do need to look around. And please do that for anybody on 2 wheels, 3 wheels, 4 wheels, whatever you're riding.
However many wheels.
Be safe. Yeah. But those bikes are very, very sturdy. They even have a cool basket in the front. You can throw your stuff
one
in the
on the
front
side
there.
too.
Yeah, and it's just they're very sturdy. You guys keep them up very, very well. I think every Monday when I'm coming home from the gym, I always see somebody refilling the stall over there at the Randalls off of I think it's off Milam. You're always working on those. At the YMCA that I go to in downtown, that was the first BCycle station I ever used. I think it was one of the first in town. It was super exciting, just riding around town. I think I froze my butt off that day. It was the first day you guys started. It was kind of chilly outside. And I remember just riding. I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, wow, I should have wore a jacket today.
Is that the day you forgot to take the bike back, Craig?
Yes. Yeah. It was very early in the program.
Craig absconded with a bike in the program.
I didn't understand the whole concept of I was like, oh, just check it out. And I can ride it, and I got so excited after 3 hours or so, I was riding my bike, or your bike. And finally it was like my explain the charges if you can. Cause I think that's another thing it's a very small hurdle, but I think it's something that you guys should probably explain.
Yes, for sure. And so right now, with our standard BCycles, not the electric bikes, it's just $3 every 30 minutes. And so how it works is as soon as you go check out a bike, there's a pre-authorization hold, just like the gas, but you don't get charged for that. And it's $3, 30 minutes on ride as soon as you check it out. You can ride for as long as you want, but as soon as you dock it in, the next day it calculates how much you've ridden. And so if you can do 2 to 3 hours, that could be around $14, $15. But there is a really cool membership option, which will save you hundreds of dollars if you're an avid biker, or even ride more than twice a month. This is the memberships. This gives you unlimited hour-long rides. So like that ride that you took for 3 hours, you could just pay $13 a month, unlimited hour-long rides. So as soon as you check out a bike, right before the hour ends, dock it at any of our many stations, check out the same bike if you want, and the hour just restarts. So you can do it all day, every day, not go over your monthly membership fee.
I saw that and was thinking how economical that was. I was like, that's a real good thing for somebody if you're near one or your work is near one. If you use it, like you said, more than twice a month, I mean, that's perfect. I mean,
and if you're just maybe you're riding to lunch,
exactly.
Maybe you're just taking it to lunch, you're running a quick errand, a few blocks away, you don't feel like walking, you don't want to, take an Uber, take Lyft, take whatever you want, going back to your point about COVID, and it's a healthy way to get from point A to point B to point C to point D, wherever point you're going. Very safe.
All the points.
Yeah. How do you lock them up? That's another, I had somebody ask me that too. What if somebody steals my BCycle? Is that possible?
There is a locking mechanism on each of the bikes. So right on the front basket, there is this really cool, really easy to use lock to where you can just connect it to, a pole or even a bike rack. And then it comes out with a key for you. And so, rarely, if anything happens, one of our field techs, can go and unlock it for you, but you have your key for you. So no even, fret, because a lot of people do use it to go grocery shop. I mean, we just added a new BCycle station in HEB in North Shepherd.
Oh, cool.
And there's so many around. So definitely that could be very much utilized, especially in school too. We offer annual discounts for students and staff, as well as even in the medical center. So they could pay as little as $5 a month and have unlimited hour-long rides.
What's the closest one to the museum?
Yes, so that's going to be Fannin and Benz.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the one. And the museum area is so kind of very much utilized. We definitely want to put one next to the Glassell School as well, and even more further there. So it's just more of a connector. So it finishes the first and last mile of public transit. I mean, you have the rail right there. They could
and given how crowded it gets down here at certain times, it's perfect idea for people who work down here. Because you can't leave in your car because there's no parking or no whatever when you get back, just to take your little bike and go pick something up or do what you need to do.
Oh, yeah. And it's really great because and now I've had to change my marketing tactics for this pandemic. And what I tell people, if you're kind of cooped up or can't really go on, group dates, go on like a solo bike ride, to refresh. If you're stuck at home, there's a nearby station, utilize that to kind of, set your mindset right. And we still want people to still know that this is a great outdoor activity that is safe. And also it's just healthy and you can still have a sense of community because I know, Buffalo Bayou and even Herman Park, one of their highest, performing stations. Definitely check out those bikes there, but check out some stations that are not as popular just so then you can utilize it. Know there's bikes there. Know that there's really cool bike routes. So it's really great.
Yeah, that's cool. The more we use them, the more bike stations we get.
What are the most popular bike stations for y'all?
Yes. So the most popular ones is going to be Sabine Bridge, which is on Buffalo Bayou Partnership. Of course, the one on Centennial Gardens right there in Houston and near the Houston Museum. And just main ones are going to be along with the bayous, Eleanor Tinsley Park, as well as even the Discovery Green stations. Those are a lot of big hitter stations. And we've even added more, especially right next to the Toyota Center. And even we're going to add one new one for everybody to know, next to the BBVA, next to the soccer stadium. So,
nice.
To alleviate some parking, issues and stuff.
I definitely know too that, definitely all my Dynamo fan friends, it's funny. They're all bike riders too. Like it's this cool little bike culture within the Dynamo fan base. And even Dash too. So they're always riding their bikes and I always see them, it's like a big orange flash going by, on game days and stuff. And then you'll see a few little BCycles, kind of sprinkled in there too. And yeah, it's so convenient. And also too, you're bringing up, if you're cooped up if you're cooped up at home, nobody else is doing anything. You have the day off, it's also a good way to see the city. And when I say see the city, I mean, when you see the city from a bike, it's a lot different than a car with your AC blasting, the music playing, you're worried about other people. I mean this in the most nicest way. You get to smell the city.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And experience things. In the car, we just don't pay attention to what's going on around us. I can drive the same way and I'll look over and go, I never knew that was there, but I've driven by it 100 times. On a bike, I think it's very different because you're much more aware of your surroundings just by the very nature of the act itself. So yeah, I think that's true, Craig. I think that's actually a really good point. It's a great way to experience your environment.
And what's really great too is that like a lot of people are utilizing this and checking out some new, mom and pop shops. And I mean, a lot of the times, one of the highest statistics is that people, drive all the time within, if it's less than 15 minutes drive. I mean, might as well, even bike your own bike. I mean, I know that I'm, promoting our bike share, but if you have your own, I highly recommend, utilize that. You save gas. You can literally kind of exercise a little bit, but also you can like see your neighborhood, see, these beautiful houses. And a lot of the times too, which we love, is putting stations near bike lanes and bike safety areas to where people can still be safe around it. We're adding so much more even in the great like creative culture areas. We're adding one in Fifth Ward next to the Deluxe Theater that they're revamping. Oh, cool. And so it's like kind of showing how beautiful Fifth Ward can be, as well as connecting them with the rest of the city, as well as even in the East End. I mean, a lot of the times we want to show, add more stations a little bit further out so then people can utilize, what's the great, really cool parks like Mason Park and even McGregor Park in, Third Ward. So this is really great to just show people all the really cool places around the city, besides just downtown, and a lot really cool shaded areas. Because I know even right now with the heat, I always tell people too, and you guys as well, if you ever check out a bike, even at the museum district, go take a fun bike ride, even at Rice University. It's so shaded. Yes, and then head to the museums.
I'm with you on that. I'm a vampire.
But now you can take one at night because it's lit up.
I'm going to on my vampiring. I'm going to take out a bike and go vampiring around.
I like that. To your point too, like it does. I will say that we have the more transplants that are moving to Houston, they come from cultures that are more bike oriented, like, from some of the bigger cities that aren't so bike oriented. And they're sort of transplanting that bike culture here. And it's a good way for even people who just moved here 2 weeks ago to experience parts of the city that even a native that's been here for 38 years has probably never even seen before. And they're getting to see it up close. They're getting to smell the restaurants, smelling the taco trucks. They're hearing the music coming from the houses. And it is a very cozy, I just want to end this podcast right now so I can go ride now.
You're full of really good insights today, Craig. Like as far as you were saying in the wards, they're so historical, like even from the streets that you're riding on, like there's so much history that you would never experience in your car, that riding that bike that you'd be so next to and be able to see, just like you're saying, and smelling the good food that's in those areas, and just some of that stuff like you just don't when you're not, out in it. If you're in your car, like you said, listening to the music with your air conditioning blasting. Yeah, I agree. That's a great point. Now y'all are talking me into riding a bike. I'm going to blame you if I skin my knees.
I want to give people too, and I'm going to provide you guys, a free 30-minute ride that can last to the whole, September. So this is for the listeners and viewers. But I'll make you guys a promo code, just so then if anybody hasn't ridden it, they can, check out the promo code, and of course, and we'll send it later on today. But it's going to be really cool. You can utilize it at any other station of 140 by the end of this week. Download the free app so you do not have to touch the kiosk. And just tell us how you guys like it, especially if you follow us on social media. Yeah. So open to hear us.
For now, it's just inside the loop, right? Or are you trying to expand out a little bit more?
We actually are. So we have just around 5 stations outside the loop, 2 at City Center and 3 to 4 in Lake Houston and Alexander Dusan Park and Eisenhower Park. So those are because, thank you, Council Member Bronny Ellis, who has actually helped us pay for those stations and pay for a lot of our e-bikes. But those actually stations are actually in the top 10 of our 140. Because if you guys ever checked out Dusan Park or Alexander Dusan Park as well as Eisenhower, oh my God. Beautifully parked. You can take the whole family, wide open space, and there's stations there.
Well, that's the thing about City Center as well, is that there's such an oil and gas contingent over there. There's always people moving in that area. There's like an A&M school over there. There's a graduate school. And like I said, it's going back to the younger population that is eschewing cars. They don't, some of them don't own cars or,
have driver's licenses.
There you go. And I think I think the only hurdle, it seems to me, is the weather here in Houston.
Yeah.
Is that some people are leery of riding when it's as hot as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to ride that way. But I guess that's just, you can't change the weather, obviously. But
short trips are doable in the hot.
I always had a
Short
question
trips.
too. Can you guys tell when the busiest seasons are for BCycle? Like when things shoot up, or when does it get low? Yeah.
Yes. So pre-pandemic, yeah, we definitely saw the huge rise in the summertime because people are, out and about. It's they're not, freezing cold in the winter. But honestly, since the pandemic, we rose around like over 60% in ridership because so many people wanted to be outside. And so at this time, it's constantly just going up. There's no low.
But maybe that's a COVID silver lining because we look for them all the time, don't we, Craig? That maybe you'll retain a lot of those riders that did it because of pandemic, but then they're like, wow, this is really great. And so that might be have some permanence, which would be
And it's
incredible.
good to do with groups too. Like you can get like 4 or 5 people. I've seen that tons of times. People, coming and going from Minute Maid, for a game in that area, and get away from the traffic and just drive away. Go to your favorite bar, or your favorite restaurant, or something. Get away from you're not having to wait, for an Uber.
I've seen dates over here too, like people that were very clearly on some sort of outing date type thing. It is really cute. They're like just pedaling along together.
Yeah, has anybody gotten engaged on a BCycle yet? Is that a thing yet? Or
no, but my goal is to photobomb somebody getting engaged.
In the back.
Just biking. But yes, I mean, a lot of the times, I see people, because now farmers markets are popping up, especially in the Heights and, in like Greenbrier. But people are just taking the bikes, packing up their stuff in there, and then biking back because it's really great, useful tool to use. But yeah, I mean, group rides, especially. I mean, we do have now they had critical mass, which is every last Friday at Guadalupe Park. But we still try to make some smaller groups, to make sure everybody's comfortable. And because even now we always tell people, even though it's kind of like a difficult time, but just to be safe. If you can't bike with somebody, please bike with somebody. Yeah. Make sure that you're biking in a very lit area. Mm-hmm. Make sure that, you are aware of your surroundings, because Houston is Houston, and it can be just like any place.
It's just big.
If you ride in numbers too, and that's the whole concept behind critical mass, is riding in numbers can be a lot safer. And that was my thing when I always rode. I always tried to ride with friends, or even sometimes it was just a stranger that was also riding. Most people don't mind if you sort of get with them, not in a creepy way, but if you ride with them.
I was like, Craig, we're gonna have to talk.
There is safety in numbers, though. You do understand that everybody's looking out for each other, and then there is also the aspect of if you're a car rider, if you're driving a car, please always look around for cyclists. I live in Montrose, which is one of the bike capitals of the city. And I'm always making sure that I'm aware of who's riding. I'm aware that, I need to give people some grace, some leeway, because they're not as fast as I am in my truck. And then I always, make sure that, I'm looking out for everybody, obviously. Yeah. And that's a big thing. And we definitely, wear a helmet, please, if you're out there, protect that noggin. I've had plenty of friends. I've been in bike accidents myself, and they weren't BCycle bikes, I promise you. And, you just be safe out there, make sure you protect yourself. And it's just a really great way to see the city. So even if you have nowhere special to go.
So if I can just pipe in one thing real quick, Johnny, over here.
Happy birthday, Johnny.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
That's a great segue to what I was going to comment on, is that what I got for my birthday a few weeks early was a bike. It's an e-bike, but it still operates as a normal bike. I was just going to say that a bicycle, whether it's an e-bike or a normal bicycle, plus a phone holder and Google Maps is a complete game changer. Like you're saying, you'll discover the city in ways I've lived here since 1989. I've discovered things about Houston that I've never known before on my bike with the Google Maps, everything going like that. So I highly recommend it. The other thing that you'll find out is that running errands on a bike, a lot of errands can be done a lot quicker on a bike than in a car. It's just you hop on your bike, you go to the grocery store, get, a few things that you need or whatever. And you can get that done in half the time on a bike than you can in a car. It's really cool how that works out. So BCycle plus Google Maps, game changer.
Yay, birthday boy.
Thank you.
Man.
And because there was he's lucky he got a bike, because I remember last year around this time, bike shops were very, very busy. All the bikes that I wanted to buy were sold out, or it was like going to be a 6-month wait, but BCycles are always there. You guys are always in stock. So,
and I have a broke down bike in my garage that I'm thinking about figuring out how to get somebody to fix it now that you guys have kind of inspired me.
The weather's getting better for it. So it will be, I promise.
November,
Christmas time, it'll be perfect. That's another thing too, is Christmas lights. When it comes Christmas time, it's a really good way to see Christmas lights.
That's a great idea.
People utilize those all the time. And what's really cool is that we're even, selling, if it's a really quick kind of Christmas present, sell them a BCycle membership or get a BCycle member. And that's unlimited hour-long rides. We even do kind of like gift memberships. But yes, especially during like those times, it's going to be perfect weather. A lot of things are kind of opening back up. There's a lot more of outdoor bars and restaurants, museums, parks, to where you can utilize, because everything's kind of changing. But I feel like it's for a little bit of the better. They're putting more focus on parks. Of course, they're finishing up that really cool trail in the Heights, to where that they can utilize that. They're redoing, of course, Third Ward parks. And so I feel like this is, the best time to utilize this bike share organization, and hopefully add more e-bikes too. I know Johnny's bike is probably assisting up to like 20 miles per hour, but our bikes go up to just pedal assist up to 13, which is, so it doesn't, don't get too scared on those, but that gives you a little bit more of a push, especially during this heat. I definitely
feels good too. I don't have hair, but having the wind blow through your face and everything.
Your facial hair.
It cools you down. I think a lot of people get nervous about that, but with the bike,
endorphins going because you're exercising.
The exercise, the wind, even if it's hot wind, hot Houston, humid wind, it still does feel really good. Yeah. And it's a good way, just to get around, get some exercise. And it's funny. The other thing with the BCycle thing is that I'm always seeing you guys working on those stations. There's always somebody working on the station. And it's just, there's the upkeep and the love and the care, because everybody that works for BCycle, you guys all love biking. And so it shows through the upkeep as well.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're constantly trying to update them. There's so much. It's just technology issues. We have a great customer service staff that helps out. Say, for instance, a station is turned off, but you dock in your bike and it doesn't recognize it. Please call us, everybody, if there's any issues. We'll fix it really quickly, within a couple of days. But one of the great things too is that, like, with this upkeep, we want to make sure these stations are always on and running. We want to make sure that each dock that you dock in registers the bike. And if you try to check out a bike, you can pull it out. And so, whenever last year we had to add and hire several more mechanics just so then they can make sure. And now we're just kind of, making it a lot better by having them recheck the bikes, because it would be a nightmare for somebody to go on bike and a pedal falls off or something. Right. So we just want to make sure that they are utilized. They have lights on if they're riding at night, tires pumped. So yes, please, if anybody has any issues, to let us know. And and one of the things too is that we want to continue on with this community, being as engaged as we can. I'm partnering up with other organizations to give them bike rides, informing them and giving them free rides to, certain places, as well as even having some really cool art stations. So if you've seen, even in Midtown, we've partnered with two great local artists that have painted this BCycle stations the same colors as the Midtown district. And
cool.
Definitely check out our social media, some photos. And we just finished one in the East End with artist Alex Aruzo that painted an amazing station docks. And those get utilized a lot more because we're, collaborating with them. It's a beautiful site. And as well as you'll probably see all around town over 20 art unicorn bikes. So these unicorn bikes are painted by local artists. And so we always want to add more of these really cool, unique kind of city of Houston bikes with these local artists. All we need is just funding from partners. So if anybody wants to ever, fund an artist to paint a station or even a BCycle, we'll love
dinosaur station.
We need a dinosaur bike.
Dinosaur bikes and dinosaur stations.
Oh my God, you got it.
I want a Velocibike, a Velociraptor bike.
A few weeks ago, we had one of our in-house artists, Bill Ferguson, on, and that's probably something Bill would be into. Bill, if you're listening,
he's awesome.
Let's work on that. We need a
That's
dinosaur
a great idea.
bike.
We do.
A fleet of T-Rex bikes, or I don't know. Honestly, what would be the best?
Velociraptors traveled in packs.
That's true. Okay.
Look at you. You already know.
Yeah.
T-Rexes were likely lone.
Yeah, they have short arms, so they can't reach the
pedals.
They can't reach the
handlebars.
The handlebars. So yeah, let's do. Okay, that's it. Yeah. It's on. It's doing it. We're doing
I'm going to come up with a name. I'm the name giver. So we're going to have to come up with a name for Abby too.
And Velociraptor, Velocity.
Velocibike,
Now we're just getting sci-fi.
I got to think of it. That's my job to sidetrack.
Velocicle.
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 That sounds like some sort of weird body part.
It sounds like an ice cream treat.
I broke my Velocicle the other day. It fell off the... Okay. Abby, thank you very much. Abby Fernandez from the Houston BCycle team. Thank you very much for being on the show. This is really awesome. And I can't wait to share out that special code for everybody to check out BCycle. If you're bored out there, guys, even if you're not bored, if you want to see the city, you want to explore, go rent a BCycle. You will not regret it. They're heavy, they're sturdy, they got lights on them, and it's a really good it's good exercise.
And they're economical.
And they are economical. Yeah, you don't have to get in somebody's Uber. Right. Smell somebody else's perfume or cologne.
Exactly. Yeah. Please check it out. I'll send you guys the code. Make sure to follow us on social media. And there's so much more to see in the city just on two wheels.
Thanks,
I always make sure to retweet you guys whenever.
Oh, that's sweet. I know I've seen that.
Works. There we go. Awesome. Abby, thank you very much. Kat, thank you very much. Johnny, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank y'all.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.